The teacher, I never seen her smile. She used to throw chalk and that brushes at us. But she would get really upset. When she threw that brush, I used to catch it. And she used to get really mad. And one day she turned my ear and I could hear my ear cracking. And, oh boy, that was, I never knew a teacher to do that. I think it turned me off from going to school. If that's what education is, then I don't want no part in it. My uncle came. He dropped off his son, younger son, and he told me, look after this boy, he said. I said, okay. It was a little while later, and I found him. He was crying, that young boy. And I said, what's going on? He said, I want to go home, he said. It's not good here, he said. Okay, so that next morning we ran away. I went down the hill and got on the highway. We got a ride right away by a farmer. When he dropped us off and we started walking again, it started to rain. All of a sudden, that green station wagon pulled out behind us, and I knew who that was. That was the administrator. And of course, they took us all the way back. And that night, in front of everybody, they take our clothes off, and he strapped us really hard too. And I don't know how he made out, but I got an injury from that. And it's an injury that I still carry today. And how much humiliated I was, and the shame that I carry from having that injury. That's kind of a hard thing. For a long time, it was hard for me to even say that to the doctor, to say that to the doctor. When things started to not feel so good inside, you start to try to figure out what's wrong, or what are you supposed to do with this not feeling good stuff inside. And most of the time, anger comes out, and then you push that anger onto things, you know. I was doing things that was not good because of that anger that I had. Even when I was playing hockey, I used to try and hurt people. And I went into the army, peacekeeping. They taught me how to kill in the army. And I learned about boxing and judo. I used that too against people. Every time I drank, I would fight. And of course, I had a broken body out of that. I went to counseling way back, got some of that junk out. And like I say, righting the wrong. If that, in my mind, when I went to residential school, I left the residential school. And then after a while, I had to get counseling to take that junk out, what I experienced. That's not the end. There's other things that has to be righted, and it's not my turn. It's the other side's turn to right the wrongs. There's people across Canada talking about reconciliation. I know that the government is saying, okay, all you Indians, you better, there's your chance to reconcile. And I say to them, no, we're waiting for you. And lots of people do not know what they need to do. That's the big sadness. That's a big sadness. Just like the law of kindness, for instance, or the law of love. Just those two, the law of sharing and caring. If we can just do that, don't hide anything anymore. start providing meaningful actions. Don't just skim along the top and say, well, everything's okay now. No, not that way. Meaningful actions that we could see and we could experience that tells me, yeah, you're okay. I think you're okay now. You're on the right track.